Oh, he's here.
Okay.
Yeah, here. I just saw that. Where her pins were, I just saw this shirt, I know she had it down below. Yes,
And I gave Michael
I'd like to introduce Louise Peacock. She's with Warm Hearts and one of the original founders of it. Warm Hearts took over Val's project in September 7th of 2007. I don't know if many of you know, or maybe a lot of you know what Val's project was. Warm Hearts was conceived by a group of Neshoba school nurses to keep that program going. And Louise, coincidentally, happened to retire in 2007 after 23 years of being a school nurse for the Neshoba district. And the welfare of the children and families of Stow are very important to Val's project, and Louise wanted to carry this program on in Val's memory. So I'd like to introduce Louise. Many of you know her. She remembers my kids.
We are celebrating 10 years, and here you can have, I'll pass this around, you can all have a pen. That's how we're celebrating, giving out pens. Yes, Warm Hearts is a 501c3. Val's project was she was the town nurse. She wasn't just the school nurse, she was the town nurse. And she knew this town. I think she started in the 50s, because I had her as a school nurse. And she helped form she was on the board when we formed the community chest, and Stow Community Chest. So when she did this very quietly on her own with the support of the police and fire departments, and she would call up different organizations and say, hey, I need this, and they would bring it to her. Working in the schools, at that time, there was no Stow Food Pantry or COA, or not many organizations in town, except for the churches and the church organizations. And we had to reach out when we had families in need to Val's project. So the school nurses knew about her, and we knew how to reach her and how she helped our families. So we knew that this was an important part of Stow life and keeping our families well and secure. Warm Hearts has a 11-member board. We break it down. Each member takes a campaign and works on it throughout the year. Our board members are all represent St. Vincent de Paul, Council on Aging, Stow Women's Club, Stow Food Pantry, the schools, and are all members of local organizations in town, so that we have input from a lot of people. And what we try to do is, so someone isn't getting service by multiple organizations at once, we try to pull the organizations together so that one group is servicing that person, is the point person. Other organizations may be helping, but otherwise it gets too scattered and you get double going into it. Nobody needs double Christmas and double Thanksgiving. Our budget runs about $36,000 a year. We started off with 12 families. We are now, I just got the count tonight. Count goes up and down because it's a pretty mobile group. Where is it? Oh, I'm sorry. We are now currently serving 127 individuals, and we have 49 children 0 to age 18 on the books. We have 17 seniors that we service, and most of our families are single-parent families. Majority of them, probably about 95% of them, are single-parent families. budget's around 36,000. We get 13,000. We just got 13,000 from grant from Stow Community Chest. We get $7,000 in other private grants that we write. Balance of our funding comes from the toy fund that we run from mid-November through till January 1st, and private donations from organizations and individuals in town. Some of the programs are, we supply emergency funds such as food cards, emergency cards for clothing. We hitch them up with a Stow social worker. We make sure that they're in a good spot. We may have to call St. Vincent de Paul to have them step in and take a look at it and see if they want to be part of it. A lot of times we share things. We can't, because our budget doesn't, we can't go in and help somebody with rent. We just don't have the wherewithal. We do help, and this has been a big issue, with new people coming into Stow or changing apartments up on Warren Road or down at Plantation. They have to set up a new account with Hudson Light and Power, and every time they do that, it's $300. So, I mean, these families just don't have $300 to lay down for these. So that's sometimes the seniors in particular, they'll get an increase in their, whatever they're on, Social Security, disability, and that'll kick them off the health insurance they're on. And so maybe for a few weeks, if their prescriptions come due, they don't have the money to pick up their prescriptions, the co-payments and everything. So we'll drive over with them and pay for the co-pays and help them get their medications. We have had homeless people show up in Stow. I was like, I almost dropped the phone when the woman called me. She said, I'm homeless. I'm like, where are you? Where'd you come from? You know, she was from Georgia and had come back, and she was sitting in the parking lot at St. Isidore's. She had tried to get in the church and couldn't get in. And so I kind of walked her through, and finally we ended up the police and the St. Vincent de Paul and us. We all worked together, and we got her stable and got her into where she needed to be. We have, a lot of times it's one-time help. You know, it's and other times it can be for a year. What we're working on and why we really put a lot of time and energy into the children is because if they're in a cycle where they grew up in poverty or on welfare, and they've been taught this is how the only way we're going to get those kids to change is to get them educated and keep them in school and keep them going. And we have had kids go on, get the Abigail Adams scholarships and go on to college, and we help them even while they're in college. And we've had them call us when they finish college. I've got a job now, I can take care of myself, thank you, you know. So, and we have families. A lot of times in the beginnings of a divorce situation, when the families are just breaking apart, there's a lot of stuff going on, and one side usually doesn't have much money, and we're usually there picking up the pieces, helping them for maybe about 6 months to a year, and then they'll call us and they've settled in and things have been taken care of. So that's our primary goal. But then in February we do Valentine's Day for the homebound seniors. We give them a little goodie bag, and we did about 17 seniors this year. Easter, the two churches, St. Isidore's and High Rock Covenant Church, do the dinners. We did 51 dinners this year. And we also do Easter baskets for all the children up to high school age. And those, I think they did around 60 baskets this year for kids. And they're pretty individual because we know the families. We know the kids from buying toys at Christmas and everything. We know what they like. So they individualize them. And so the kids, it's like the kids are getting their own, parents have done it. The big program right now that's going on is summer camperships. We give 2 weeks to our clients' kids, and they can do any Stow Rec programs. We work with Stow Rec, with Camp Stow. We usually send around 27 to 29 kids for 2 weeks of camp, and we do that in conjunction with the Alice Eaton Foundation. They give us $5,000 towards the kids going, and the older kids, they can go to a sports camp. We've sent them up to lacrosse camps, the high school kids. We've had kids take courses at Minutemen. They wanted to do some kind of a course over there. We've done 4-H camp, we've done Girl Scout camp, Boy Scout camp. We also give our families, if they want them, a beach pass to the Pine Bluffs. So they can, August is back to school. And we do, if you've ever seen the school supply list the kids have to have now, it runs about $50 to $75. The high school kids need calculators, and those calculators run over $100. So we keep track of them. They get one calculator at the beginning, and if they do anything with it, then they have to replace it themselves. But we send out a form, and they can put down the color of the backpack, the type of backpack they want. Do they need a lunchbox? Do they need, what's the other thing I know it was lunchbox. And then the list of school supplies for their grade. And the girls go, as soon as Walmart says they've got their stuff in, we're at Walmart buying out the glue sticks and the folders and all that stuff. And we also, at Center School, at this time of year, I think they're starting it now, they do a collection, and last year we got enough supplies to do 20 backpacks. So that worked out good. October is winter clothing for the kids, their jackets, their snow pants, their boots, their hats, their mittens. They pick out the color, the sizes, the boots and everything, and we've got really good shoppers. We go online, we know where the deals are, and Burlington Coat Factory gives us a break, and they get, there's nothing worse for a kid than their coat not zipping up, or, you know, it doesn't fit right. So they have at least a decent coat to get through the winter. Thanksgiving, Center School, actually, we work with the teachers and then the kids at Center School, and they provide 32 to 33 dinners, Thanksgiving dinners. We have a card with lists of what goes in, all the things that go into the dinner. And those kids, each classroom does a dinner, and we come out with 32 to 33 of our dinners come from Center School. The Girl Scouts troops in town also like to do this. And then the rest of them go to St. Isidore's and High Rock Covenant Church. And we give out somewhere around 50 to 55 dinners every Thanksgiving. A local orchard donates apples, so they each get a small bag of apples. Also, we have Girl Scout troops that bake the breads that go in the dinners. Christmas is probably our most intense time. We send out wish lists to the kids, and the kids write out what they want for Christmas. And we have the girl that's in charge of their toys spends hours looking online in stores, and she finds just about everything for a good price for those kids. We don't do any of the games or the video stuff, but we do you know, all the other things that kids would want, and a lot of sports paraphernalia, you know, and their shirts and their sweatshirts, and I still get stuff from the NFL and everything, you know. But we spend probably a month getting this together, and then the churches do the bulk of the adult gifts that we give to the adults, the small adult gifts, the gloves, the sheets, blankets, that type of thing that we need for the adults. This year we serviced 52 families at Christmas, 74 adults and 60 children through 0 to teens, through the teens. We spend 1 week at the High Rock Chapel. They give us we take over the lower floor of their church and spend a week down there sorting. And then we have 2 wrapping parties during the week, and we have the Stow Women's Club comes in one night, and Council on Aging and other people from town that want to volunteer come in and wrap the second night. And we get it wrapped, labeled, put in trash bags, ready for delivery on that Saturday. It's usually the Saturday before the holiday. So that's pretty much what we do. Can I answer any questions you may have?
Are there any service activities, like you mentioned, getting a help for wrapping or this, that, and the other thing?
I'll tell you, we take advantage of the wrapping because,
The Lions Club could help with
yeah,
as well.
wrapping is about, because of the confidentiality of working with these families and having names on things, we kind of stick to we've got a whole procedure with the wrapping where we have the family number with female or whatever, so they know whether it's a kid or an adult, and they wrap it accordingly. But then we put the name of the family member. So we really don't have, you know, I get asked by kids and volunteers, really it's the 11 volunteers that come in and do the bulk of the work. We each rotate doing, we have our own phone number now. They were calling our personal phone numbers, and we finally got a phone, and we figured out after a while that if you text them, they answer. You know, they don't always answer the phone, so if you text them, they answer. We've got our own phone, but it's the 11 board members that do the bulk of the work.
Can you name who the board members are?
It sure can. John French is one of them. John French, Susan Holmes. Susan Holmes represents the Women's Club, Stow Women's Club. Donna Lindstrom is the head nurse at the Neshoba District. Me. Allison Stevens, she was on the community chest. Janet Wheeler is our treasurer. Sharon Funkhauser's from the Council on Aging. Sarah Kilkenny, Dina Montgomery, Tara Roselli, and Marianne Talpe. So,
Now,
yeah.
do you find you have to supply food to, like, the kids on weekends at all sometimes? Like, you know, they have it.
Yeah,
hunger
yeah,
going on?
we haven't. Usually what we find is we get a call from the parent saying, I'm low on food, and I keep a supply of cards to Shaw's for them, and I can give them a card. That's part of a lot of the emergency stuff is food cards that we give out. That and clothing for kids, emergency clothing, is one of the big ones too. It's an interesting group, but they're very mobile. You know, they move in and out. Most of them are up on the hill. Seniors are all over. They're in Plantation. They're in their own homes and everything. But most of the families are up on Warren Road, and it's kind of mobile. It's a mobile group, and you know, they come and they go, and And right now, we're at a low point, you know, it seems to be in the spring, and then all of a sudden the fall. They either move in over the summer, and we'll get this new influx.
We, remember we talked earlier about our donation to Warm Hearts? We were just gonna split it up. Well, now it's time for the second half.
Yay! Time for camp. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very
All
much.
right.
Thank you. Thanks. Thanks.
Thanks, Louise. That was wonderful.
Thank you.
Great.
Okay.
Well, he is a selectman. Yes.